Hey guys, how you doing today? Just getting off work, heading home. Making a video. I think today I want to talk about the throne speech that's coming up. I kind of give context to what I think is going to happen. I think no matter what, it's going to be kind of confusing for lots of people, right? Canadians generally don't pay that much attention to politics until like 2 weeks before the election. That's when they really do start paying attention. And to give credit to Canadians, when they start to pay attention to politics, they actually become quite astute. They figure things out pretty quickly. And so I'm trying to create the narrative that I see in front of me that runs counter to what I think you're going to get from your corporate media, right? Corporate media being completely disinterested in actually telling you what's going on or dispensing any kind of facts or truth or any kind of even narrative that might take you away from selling yourself on a market that's been dominated by billionaires. So Trudeau keeps... The throne speech is coming up at the end of September. So what this is, it's a moment for the Trudeau government to put forward its vision for its government moving forward. And the Trudeau government has been allowing leaks, or has definitely been signaling that it wants to do something big in a post-coronavirus kind of environment. Things like new green economy has been thrown around. He's using all of the language that has been used by proponents on the left, except like some of the very crucial key phrases, right? He's not saying Green New Deal. He's not saying basic income, right? But he's saying everything around those ideas. And so it's very possible that on the throne speech, Trudeau is going to make fairly large announcements in regards to what the future of Canada is going to look like. I personally believe that we need to move into a war economy. Climate change now has become such a significant issue and such a major conflict for us to resolve that we should have been moving forward 20 years ago, and our inaction and our inability to act has put us so far behind and so far on the back foot that now, to get ourselves out of that hole that we've dug for ourselves and actually move forward, we have to move towards a war economy, and that is how we have to think about it. I don't think we can think about it any other way. So if, let's say, the Trudeau government wants to do something about the environment, wants to move away from fossil fuels, wants to move to more renewable resources, wants to do all this kind of stuff, it's going to be extremely disruptive, right? You've got internal sources are saying that the Trudeau government is going to open up the taps and do a whole bunch of spending, large-scale projects and big spending, all this kind of stuff. And so, because of the disruptive nature of all of this, okay, let's put forward a narrative that says he doesn't decide to pass a basic income. So the CERB has already been out for 6 months, right? So half a year. We know because of the childcare benefit, once you actually fund this for a year, because of the cyclical nature of the economy and how it actually works, once you fund it, it's funded. And it just cycles through over and over again, right? And actually increases and improves the economy that it exists in. Like, we've studied the childcare benefit, which is a basic income for children. We know that it improves the society. We know that it improves the economy. Like, we just know those things. Those are facts now. And so if he decides to just not move forward with the basic income, if he just says, okay, we're not going to do a basic income, So that 6 months of spending on the CERB really does just vanish and flows into the coffers of your landlord and into the coffers of corporations who you're spending your money in, and it just disappears, right? And gets offshored into offshore accounts, which is where it all goes. But also, like, let's say he decides, okay, we're going to stop the CERB, right? We're going to stop anything that looks like a basic income. Well, in a month's time, you're going to have evictions. You're going to have millions of people getting evicted. You can just look at the States and see how that's going, right? And it's very unbelievable to me that the Liberals would then win an election after evicting millions of people. I just don't think they'd let it happen. It's political suicide, frankly, especially in an environment like, we're not America, right? Like, I mean, I talk to Canadians every single day, and they constantly hit me with this two-party nonsense. It's like, we have other parties. We do have other options. The Orange Wave was not that long ago. Like, this weird idea that Canadians have that we live in a two-party system is very odd and very strange, and in my view, completely the fault of the corporate-owned media. That if our media was actually trying to do us a favor, it would be talking to us about what an NDP government might look like. It'd be talking to us about what a Green Party government might look like, right? But it's not interested in that. It's interested in holding power for corporate interests. Which is the reason why I have a channel and why I'm trying to create a counter-narrative to what the corporate kind of overlords and oligarchs actually give a shit about, which is not you. So, right now, like, all of the signs are showing that the Trudeau government is going to pass a basic income. They've got the Senate writing to them in support of a basic income with a very convincing letter of support. They've got so the Senate is on side, right? So they're not going to shut that legislation down. They've already said let's go forward. You've got the Globe and Mail publishing articles talking about how you could transition a CERB into a basic income, right? So you've got, I mean, David Thompson is the wealthiest man in Canada who owns the Globe and Mail, right? So, like, that kind of article going through his publications should be a signal of support from the wealthiest Canadian around. Like, the third Baron of Fleet thinks it's a good idea. So, who's going to talk shit about that? And also on top of that, the Trudeau Liberals find themselves in a position where their poll numbers are slipping because of the WE scandal. But also, and they're also in a minority government, which means that they actually do need someone to vote alongside them to maintain the government, which means that if the NDP have a brain in their head and actually understand how politics works and actually understands what the populace wants, they should be putting extreme pressure on the Liberals to pass a basic income, or they can literally say, okay, the Liberals are not actually doing what the populace wants, or is not going to do what the populace needs, and is going to, and if the Liberals don't pass a basic income, the NDP can trigger an election, right? And if the NDP can be effective in that election and actually convince people that the reason why this election triggered is because the Trudeau Liberals refused to pass a basic income, the Liberals could lose a lot of support, which I think they should if they don't pass a basic income. And the reality is Liberals don't really have anywhere else to go. They can't start working with the Conservatives, right? We abandon Liberals who do that, especially these Conservatives. But those are I've already done a couple of videos recently on the Conservatives. So we're looking at this throne speech, and it's going to be a seminal moment. It's going to be a crucial, key moment in Canadian history, because we cannot actually move forward to fight climate change without a basic income. We can't actually do it, because to move forward to actually fight climate change is going to be disruptive. It's just going to be disruptive, and there's no way to actually fight against that. There's no way to do anything about it. Because we have to just bite the bullet and say, okay, yeah, there's going to be layoffs. People are going to get out of work. Entire industries are going to have to shift the way they do business. Entire fields are going to suddenly vanish, right? They just have to. They just have to. And because we have to move towards this war economy that fights the largest existential threat that we have in front of us today. And if we're going to do that and actually be politically successful, right? Because climate change is an existential threat. It is an abstract thing for millions of Canadians who don't actually understand the subject, right? So if you're telling people that they're going to be out of work and they can't feed their family because of something that they don't necessarily see as a problem directly in front of them, then they're going to start to align with organizations and political movements that are saying, no, we're going to fight to let you put food on the table. And that's going to be the conservatives, i.e. the fascists. And it would be completely the liberals' fault if they allowed this to happen. The only reason the conservatives have any power at the moment is because they have refused to actually pass the supports that Alberta, like Albertan oil riggers and all of this need to actually feed their families, right? And there's a lot of anger at the Trudeau Liberals for moving forward with green legislation that puts people out of work. And that's not exactly what's going on, but that's the narrative that's coming out of it. And so if the Trudeau Liberals don't actually pass a basic income and do something to help these people who are out of work and who are in desperate need of help while we transition during this tumultuous time, they are essentially propping up their political adversary. So by passing a basic income, I mean, I feel if they pass a basic income, not only do they have the support of the major party on the left, not only do they have the support of the Senate, not only do they have the support of the wealthiest man in Canada, right? I feel like it's a complete and total slam dunk moving forward that he can sort of secure his legacy with this. And so it's very difficult for me to create a counter narrative. Like, we're seeing what's happening in the States, right? They're refusing to pass a basic income. They're refusing to do any of this kind of stuff. And America has turned into a failed state. Like, this is what's going on. It's directly in front of us. And if the Liberals want to move us towards being a failed state, we can do that. It's easy. Just do nothing, right? Just do nothing. That's what the Americans have done. Just do nothing. And we'll trundle forward towards the position of failed state. Absolutely. So it's up to us to put pressure on the Liberals, to put pressure on the NDP, and tell them, look, if the Liberals are not going to pass a basic income, if they don't announce it in the throne speech, you need to trigger an election. And so it's such a precarious moment for the Liberals that I think that they would be absolutely out of their minds not to actually move forward with it. But corporate power is strong, right? Corporate power is very, very strong, and it can have sway over people, and it can convince people to move against the interests of the populace in favor of personal gain, right? If they're going to give Trudeau $500 million to not pass a basic income, is he going to say yes? And then he'll get voted out and he doesn't care. He'll just go to Maui or something, right? Is that something that's real? But another thing that really does convince me that the basic income is on the table is the shift of rhetoric that's happened in the Conservative Party, right? That the Conservative Party has shifted away from its a heavy-handed rhetoric about deficits. Like, it's still sort of soft-serving it. It's still like, oh yeah, over 10 years we'll balance the budget. Like that, even though balancing the budget, like government's not a business. We've been through this. So and it's also trying to position itself as a pro-worker party, right? That under Aaron O'Toole now, I think the Conservatives are seeing like, oh, we can't just like completely shit on the working class the way that we have for the last 40 years and expect them to take us seriously, right? There's a reason why we can't seem to get enough support to galvanize the populace, and it's because no working person will vote Conservative. Because why should they? And there's a big danger if the Trudeau Liberals do pass a basic income, that people will just abandon these Conservatives, right? People will just abandon the Conservatives and the capitalist class en masse. Because why shouldn't they, right? The capitalists have made it very clear that they don't care about us. They've made it very clear that they're trying to dismantle the civil society. And they've made it very clear that they're going to abandon us. So it makes sense that we would abandon them back. And one of the great things that the basic income studies have shown is like, oh yeah, people don't stop working. They still work. They just stop working for capitalists. And that's very scary for the capitalist class. So while the basic income is absolutely necessary and absolutely has to happen, and if the Liberals don't pass it, then we are heading towards a failed state situation without a doubt. I lost my train of thought on that one. Oh well, doesn't matter. We have to, like, something like a basic income is a complete inevitability. It's just whether or not we need to fight a civil war over it or not. And it looks like the Americans do. Like, the Americans are going to have to fight a civil war over it to actually get to a position where they go, oh yeah, we should feed and clothe and shelter people. Hopefully we do not. But a lot is going to be revealed on the throne speech. It is the thing to tune into. It is the thing to pay attention to. Because my opinion couldn't be clearer. Anything short of a basic income is a corporate handout. Anything short of a basic income is a corporate handout, for sure. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for all the people who are commenting. Please comment in the links. I love people commenting. I love talking to them. I love hearing what people have to say. And yeah, please subscribe. Like, if you haven't subscribed, just subscribe. It makes my day. It makes me feel good about myself. And don't you want to make someone feel good about yourself today? I hope you do. I hope you're having a good time out there, guys. Have a drink, have a smoke, find love. Good luck.